After a long 2-week hiatus, the goddamn program is back. And we are back in a much different way this time around. So what we're going to be doing, because my usual co-host is pretty busy these days with some things he's doing. So we're going to be having some guest co-hosts from time to time. So as you probably saw both on the Black Flame page as well as the Reaper page, if you have what it takes to enjoy this insanity that is this program, feel free to reach out to me and let me know if you ever want to be a guest co-host on the show. So tonight I've invited my dear friend and fellow Satanist, Human, the Hoof Beast. Welcome back, my brother.
Thanks for having me
on this one.
Yeah, let's see where this one goes.
Well, different. So before we get ready to kick off your weekend with a blasphemous bang, let's take a quick commercial break to our brothers over at Poison Valley Clothing. Check it out. Allahu Akbar. Hell yeah. If you're looking for some seriously awesome custom horror designs, get your ass on over there and check out what he's got, especially for the spooky Halloween season that we are currently in. He's got some doozies. All righty. So, how you doing tonight, brother?
Best time of the year. Fucking Halloween. It's not as hot. It's getting cool. Hallows Eve is right. It's a couple weeks away. My best time of the year.
Fuck yeah. As well as it should be just absolutely all year long as far as I'm concerned.
Well, we make it that's how we live it.
Mm-hmm. So obviously over the last couple of weeks, I've seen all kinds of crazy shit. That has been kind of online in different spots, and I found some very different things. And I figure we start this one off with somebody we particularly don't care for. In some ways, this was tragic, and in some ways, it's just goddamn hilarious. So if I can get my pointer to work correctly, since it keeps fucking with me. Here we go. Oh, hold on. It ran away from me again. Tonight's goddamn list. All right, here we go. So he's pretty much the butt of every metal joke there is. But one day I was searching through, literally, I mean, he kind of looks like a butt. Might as well just call him Vince Buttface. I don't know. Anyway, so I found this on my timeline, and it says Vince Neil's solo set was cut short due to an active shooter. So I'm sure you know this as well as I do. When you're playing the local state fair, it's pretty much where metal bands go to die. So fresh off of the Motley Shit tour, I guess he did a solo set of some more Motley shit songs. But about maybe a half hour or so into his set, apparently shots were fired. Woo! Now I know what my first response to that was. Damn, somebody hates him more than we do, and they tried to take him out. Did you hear about this, Hoof Beast?
No, not until you brought it up. But what my first thought was, like in 1985, 1984, he did a year or so in jail because he killed somebody with a car when he was drunk driving. So my first thought was maybe it was that family. Somebody from the family was coming to get him.
To finally get some retribution now that he's not the mega star sex symbol that he thought he was many moons ago.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I guess that would have been poetic justice. All I remember is when I first saw that, I was like, oh shit, somebody tried to take his ass out. And then
Mhm.
saw that he had released a statement saying that I was playing and there was a little ruckus in the crowd there. And I thought they were just getting excited, but apparently they found a gun and we were rushed off stage. Thanks for
Mhm.
everybody who came to see me play and hope to rock you again. It's just like, wow, what a statement.
God, I want to know.
They rushed his fat ass off quicker than he could get his mouth wrapped around a T-bone.
Yeah, I want to know if he was using backing tracks. I'll bet he's the backing track king. He can't sing anymore. I mean,
For
that's one of my best belly laughs of 2023 is watching him kind of scat singing, fucking the words up to Wild Side. I think that's the one that he fucked up. That thing went viral.
which song didn't he fuck up? Let's just be
Yeah.
perfectly honest. Anything from girls to Dr. Feelgood, you name it, he fucked it up.
Yeah, that as much as I love you impersonating your drum kit, which is really cool, when you just now scat sang and that you really did Vince Neil justice. That sounded a lot like him. That is a lot of what like he's doing now.
It was like listening to one of the Teletubbies, trying to sing one of his
Yes.
terrible lines.
God, you know what? In the 80s, he was such a sex symbol.
He really
Almost
was, which is
all of
scary.
the girls just loved him. And to think now that he let his belly go, he really, if we put a Teletubby costume on him, they don't need to add any padding in the belly for him.
Shit, he could be fucking Barney the purple dinosaur for all we know. God damn
Well,
it,
that would
that
be more
dude.
interesting than him because he's not very interesting anymore.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
definitely not. I mean, he's not worth watching, for sure. And I'm talking like die-hard fans. So it's like, so the fact that somebody tried to, and later, of course, after thinking that, oh man, the headline said that he was rushed off stage and all this shit, and I'm like, man, thought for sure somebody tried to take him out.
Hmm.
And turned out it was just a couple of kids, I guess, teenagers that were having some sort of tiff,
Mm.
and they got pissed off at each other. A fight ensued, and he managed to get a couple shots off. From what I understand, one of the people in these two groups that were fighting in the middle. Could you imagine that? I mean, wouldn't we incite a riot with Vince Neil singing on stage, I mean, I would definitely riot. Uh, and if I wasn't rioting, I'd
Um,
be puking. Well, one or the other.
you know what? I can guarantee you for Vince Neil's solo show, I would get on there and I would fucking boo harder than I did for Evanescence.
Paul
Uh,
says they must have been serving Bud Light. It's like, God damn it, serve me the hard stuff. Man, so yeah, I found that really interesting, and I found it strange the way he handled it. Hopefully he won't be an alcoholic anymore after that, because he had such a close brush with death, as though he's not killing himself with 32 packs of Budweiser, just about every day, and whatever else he's shoveling into his small little goblin gullet.
Yep. They used to be big Jack Daniels guys.
Oh yeah, that
I
was
remember
definitely the
in the
all the
80s.
photographs of them, literally carrying around these 1 liter bottles of Jack Daniels, which I don't know how anyone can do that.
Yeah. But
I sure as hell couldn't just be swig after swig drinking that shit. I would black the fuck out.
hell yes. Now I had some blackout or near blackout times in Kazakhstan. When I lived in Kazakhstan, they'll invite you over and they really do love Americans. So I would get invited
Yeah,
and it's almost all men, or at least at the table, the women go sit down at one side of the table and the men sit down, and these dudes can throw down. Now they're eating horse meat, and they're eating primarily horse meat, so that's absorbing a lot of the alcohol. Hello, Mr. Vegetarian doesn't have anything to like really hold the alcohol on for me. And then it's the manhood thing and how these Kazakhs have been drinking vodka. A fifth of vodka in Kazakhstan is about $4, and
no shit.
really good vodka, not Smirnoff shit like Beluga. Now Beluga there is more expensive because they have to import it. But if you get
Sure.
local
What's
Kazakh
up, Cody?
vodka, local Kazakh vodka is really really good and cheap. And so, anyways, they've been drinking this their whole life. Oh my gosh, I had some nights where I couldn't drive, but they've got good things set up to where you call it, it costs almost double, but you can call a cab driver and they bring their friend, and their friend drives your car, and then you ride in your own car with somebody else driving it. So that's what I had to do 2 times in Kazakhstan. I got so fucking hammered.
Woo.
I can't hang with them. Those guys can drink.
No, not yeah. It sounds like it. Um, just to let everybody know out there, the reason my background looks so fucking weird is because I'm in Jackson, Tennessee right now, in my hotel room, my little demon getaway. Because I'm going to be doing interviews all day long tomorrow at this little fun thing if it pops up. There it is. Yep, I'll be invading the Tennessee Metal Devastation Music Fest tomorrow. So I know Cody, who just said hello, is going to be there. So if anyone else is in the area and wants to get something signed by me, come check me out, man. And I already heard that it's going to be extra specially fun. As I was flipping through, of course, we have to get to our blasphemous portion of the show, which never takes long to get to because there's
Yeah,
just
let's do
always
it.
so much.
Let's fucking do it.
So, as probably most of you guys know, that last year at the Tennessee Metal Devastation Fest, the town definitely expressed their satanic panic woes in a major way to where it actually made national headlines and international headlines, if I remember correctly. That the people putting the show on was, you have to go through a satanic ritual of initiation just to come into the show with like a bat's wing and a fucking knife and whatever else. I'm sitting here going, how
Hmm.
in the blue hell would you think that would go on at a show, especially outdoors and in public. It's literally beyond me that the day and age that we live in still has this fascination. That heavy metal is just purely a satanic thing, which is interesting because last time I checked, the Satanic Bible doesn't talk about heavy metal at all.
Exactly. It is not
Um,
fucking in here at all.
there's no what do you call it, ritual of initiation for shit. There's no one that we bow down to, so why would we make crowd members do this very thing? So this ended up coming up on my timeline, and I was like, really, 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 really. So basically, what's been happening with some of the organizers this week is they've been being preached to by local church and Christian members. And I received word that there's going to be a protest outside the festival tomorrow. So, my question to Zach Moonshine on this was, can I get a selfie as I walk past them in my makeup?
Reaper, I'm sorry. What makes you think you're walking past them without interviewing these nut jobs? Tomorrow, Reaper, you are going to interview a few of these fucks if they don't run away screaming when you approach them. I want you to, I'll come up with 3 questions you can ask everyone, and you will go fucking viral.
Now, you know that when I heard this, that there's going to be a possible protest outside this metal fest, the first fucking thing I wanted to do was to get my hands on. I got to speak to these people and try to figure out what this hysteria really is all about and why they think all these things. And then, of course, I'm going to laugh in their fucking faces. And I'm going to be like, you guys are so fucking stupid, first of all, because let's face it, you believe in a sky daddy that doesn't exist. And, a Satanist friend of mine, I've known him a long time. Matter of fact, posted something today. Isn't it funny that their so called God would create an enemy just to inflate his ego that much more? And these people literally think that people are going straight to fucking hell for going to see 25 fucking amazing bands tomorrow night. My friends Raven Black, Summoner's Circle, our good friends Grave Huffer is playing. There are so many great bands on this thing, and it's a concert that you don't have to pay through the nose to get to, and then you get to meet me. So it's like, what the hell does this cloven hoof bastard have to do with this show? There's nothing even on the bill to indicate that Satanism or anything of the sort, other than myself, of course, has anything to do with this show. It's a show for metalheads. So that just once again, why are we still going through this? What are your thoughts on that, there, Hoof Beast?
My thoughts are what questions you're going to ask them, and I'm ready to deliver you good questions that you can ask them. Number one, tell me what you know about the Satanic Bible and the Church of Satan. There you go. The second one is, tell me about the conjuration of compassion. Tell me what that is. Tell me what you know about the conjuration of compassion. Tell me about what a Satanist from the Church of Satan would think about the devil. Who is the devil? Where is the devil? And I guarantee you, they are going to be 0 for 3 on whatever questions you ask them.
Well, I mean, let's face it. no one on, in that Christian realm of society has even bothered to read the book.
No.
Folks out there in the great little city of Jackson, Tennessee, I got news for you. You created the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Another fictitious figure in order to trap your followers into being afraid. So that is why they are fearing the metal militia that is coming into this festival. I just, the 80s was such a fucking joke with that shit. So I was like, how are we still going through this in 2023? And it's
Well,
not even bands like Slipknot. It's not, big black metal bands like Behemoth. Although I hear Behemoth gets picketed pretty much wherever they go,
mhm.
which I can understand because I mean he's outwardly a Satanist. They did the same thing to King Diamond, Marilyn Manson, and just about everybody else. Even though Marilyn Manson is not a Satanist, motherfucker. He fooled Anton. We all know the story. Uh, let's see. Cody says, I remember. Okay, here we go. Let me pull that up. He says, I remember last year somebody commented and said, why is it called Devastation? Was making a big deal out of the fact that the name of the company is Metal Devastation Radio. Now, anyone that knows metal, it would sound pretty dumb to really call it, metal rainbows or metal pop rocks, metal teddy bears. It's just not. Metal is metal. It's hard hitting, awesome fucking music. So what's wrong with it being called Metal Devastation? It just means that your ears are going to be devastated with awesome fucking metal bands. That's what I would have told them.
Mhm. Good God. Oh,
Tiny
I would.
minds, tiny minds.
Damn, I wish I could be there because I would love
I
to.
wish you could too, man. We could stand out
I
there and have Q&A with them
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
I'm real good at dealing with nonsense like this because I don't let them get away. When they try to pull a red herring argument to avoid answering a question, I'm real good at saying, "Okay, let's come back to here. I asked you this question. Would you please answer this?" And then if they don't, I embarrass them. And well, some of these people are beyond being shamed, though. They have no shame.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. My question is, what would they do if it was an all gangster rap concert? Talking about ass, big floppers, money, shooting. Would they have a problem with it?
Yeah.
Probably not, because they're just one big hypocrisy group. That's all I know. I just thought that was funny because, and it literally, I just saw that before um, we went on broadcast tonight. So, all right, let's move on to the next order of business on the goddamn list. This is perfection. So, especially since we were just kind of talking about back in our day. So, a friend of mine on Facebook puts a post up probably about a week or two ago. And it says, teens walking to school today with their little iced coffee. My generation took vodka in water bottles. So we invite everybody out there in the comment section, which you guys have been fucking awesome as always, to tell us some of your traditions when you were in high school about how you went to school. I don't know. Yeah, pretty much back in our days, it was clear out just about any kind of a bottle. And this is just some of the crazy shit that kids in the 80s would do. They get into their mom and dad's liquor cabinet at some point, and take like a shampoo bottle, clean it out, fill it up with the good stuff, and take it with you because everybody thinks it's shampoo, right? So that's kind of, I don't know, in the 80s, that's what kids were doing at that time. And I do think it is funny that why would you send kids with Starbucks to school knowing that they're going to be bouncing off the fucking walls? It's beyond me. So what were some of the traditions that you guys used to do, Hoof Beast?
Well, my first time ever experiencing alcohol was at school. My
Why is it always
freshman
at
year,
school?
it was in my Spanish class, and we had a day where we were cooking, and we were all going to eat it. So my job was to bring a 2 liter of Coke, and Chris Leffler brought a big fat bottle of Jim Beam, and we just fucking down that whole thing real quick, like about 5 or 6 of us. Nobody ratted out anybody. The teacher was too clueless and didn't come and work the back of the classroom where we were. Never, she could have smelled that bourbon any easily, and we fucking
What?
got fucking hammered. Now, the other thing that I'll say is, like, I was a school teacher for 23 years. The generation out now needs a fucking drink all the time. I'm thirsty all the fucking time. And I coach soccer all the time. I coach girls soccer quite a bit because I'm actually a pretty good football soccer coach. And my
Mm.
daughter plays college soccer right now and plays a semi-pro because she's just a sophomore in high school. And so I coached her throughout her time. Oh my God, these girls wanted to stop and get a fucking drink of water all the time. 5 minutes into the warm up of practice, can we get a drink? And this is not first grade or second grade girls. And I just went back to think about when I played. I never asked for a damn drink of water. Anything. I knew my time to drink water was at halftime.
Well, here's my thing. Can they completely become dehydrated within 10 minutes?
No.
No. So why the hell do they have to have one every 5 seconds? Is this because they were allowed to hold their bottle for too long when they were babies? What? Why
Yeah.
are kids having to do all this shit? Why can't they go to school without having a Monster Energy drink?
I
I
think a lot of it
mean,
is probably status. I've got my
you know what? And
Starbucks.
that's sad.
$4.60 for my latte.
Well, what's funny about that is back when I was in high school, in the '90s, the early '90s, uh, if we needed to stay awake because we did an all night, fucking study session or something, we took no dose.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you didn't take your no dose, you took your stacker threes, which is not good for
Or
anybody, as we later found out.
or we just sucked it the fuck up and we fucking drove on and went about our fucking day. I can remember,
It's
I was just going to say, I remember speaking with a new girlfriend on the phone until like 4:30 in the morning about the fun things we were going to do the next night. And so I was fucking tired the next day. I only had like an hour and a half, 2 hours of sleep before I had to wake up and go to school. But I fucking did it.
apparently for Paul Nada, it was cigarettes and joints.
Shit,
I
joints will
mean,
put me to sleep right now.
well, shit, the type of weed they got these days, holy crapola,
Woo, you got it.
you
Like
know?
when the kids come to high school high as a kite these days, it's so obvious. Plus, it
It's,
smells so much stronger than it did when we were growing up. But it'll
oh,
knock you
you
on
know it,
your
man.
ass.
Starting to wonder if they're growing weed and like cow shit and uh, all kinds of weird fucking stuff. I don't know how they do it these days, but that shit smells so fucking bad. It's like you could be driving down the road, and have your, uh, you know, vent open to keep your windshield clear, and that shit just gets sucked in from a car just going by you. It's like, wait a minute, that's not a skunk. That's skunk weed.
Hmm.
No offense to anybody that likes to partake of the devil's lettuce. It's just the stuff. It just smells horrible these days.
Oh, I love the smell, but the trouble with me is there's a such thing as being nose blind,
This is
and
true.
so like I can't smell it anymore. Like not even I
Oh,
can
that's because you're
smell
so used to
I
it.
can
Yeah.
smell the ground herb or the flower. I can smell that, but I can't smell it like if I smoke and then I come back in the room, I might smell it for like 2 seconds and then it's gone. I'm so used to
Hmm.
it now. And
Yeah.
this brings us to a funny issue also with this generation. Is when I was teaching middle school overseas, I had students from a certain country that do not use deodorant, and they have no
That's
idea
exactly what the fuck I was just thinking.
that the whole class can fucking smell their stank armpits. And they never say, "Oh, I have deodorant on." They never say that. They're just like they seem genuinely puzzled. Sometimes one time I had three kids from this country in my class. The classroom
Mhm.
stunk so bad, everybody was complaining about it, that I had to take the
Growing
stink leader.
food.
Yeah, I had to take the stink leader outside and have a talk with him. And they denied it. Like he was so nose blind that he denied that he stunk. And I said, "I'm sorry, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm not trying to embarrass you. That's why I pulled you outside. But you need to put deodorant on you. If you forget, go. If you come and ask me, I'll let you go to the bathroom and you can wash your armpits with soap and water before you come in my class." But I was up against three of these boys. Oh my
Ooh.
God. But I cleaned that problem up because I also talked about it in general to the whole class about personal. I said, okay, it's time to have a class on personal hygiene and not exposing your issues to the rest of the class.
Right,
That's
which
not
is
cool.
that's the right way to do it. But the ones that always get me are the ones that are wearing, two and three things under their, they'll have a hoodie on, and then they'll have like two more t-shirts on, and it's like you know that you stink, so you're trying to cover it up with clothing, but it just ends up coming to the surface every fucking day.
Well, and usually, they've had their stank body kind of oozing onto that hoodie that might be the third layer of their clothing. Plus, they haven't washed that hoodie in over a month. And so that hoodie stinks. They've been sleeping in that hoodie. And these kids, a lot of them today, they think greasy hair is cool. Their hair is
Yeah,
so
I don't
fucking
Matt
greasy and stinky and nasty. I'm like, oh my gosh.
and stringy. I mean,
Hmm.
it's one thing if you're trying to be like Max Calvarera and have some, dreads or something. I get that. But for anyone that, at that age to think that that's cool, I don't get that. Bum is not in.
I
No, no,
agree.
no self-respecting woman wants a dude that, or anyone, any human for that matter, wants somebody that is not taking care of themselves. It's just not pleasant. There's the difference
Yeah.
between musk and must.
Yeah. Good God, like this week working at my store, I have had several people come in and it just smells like they haven't changed their underwear or washed their crotch. Like when I was in the Rangers, sometimes we had to stay in the field for like a week straight. I
Mm-hmm.
fucking stank, man. My clothes stank. When I parachuted into Panama for combat, we were out for a week before, and we were not where we had enough water to take a shower or anything like that. My fucking socks stank so bad. My underwear, my ass, I stank so bad at that time that I remembered that
You were
fucking
creating
smell.
cheese. That's what you were doing.
Yes. And we've got so many people that come in these days, and these are guys, people in their 50s and 60s that are coming in that just don't fucking bathe. And I fucking hate it. I just breathe through my mouth, turn my head to the side to gulp air, turn back to them. They gotta know something's going on.
Oh, well, and my only advice to parents is make them do it.
And
Just make
brushing
them do it.
teeth. Brushing
I
teeth
didn't get
too.
that one either.
Yeah. Fucking
I will
stank
never
breath.
understand that.
My
Yeah,
God.
it's not even just the breath. It's like, you're not really drinking coffee and dark stuff unless, you just let your kids, go on and drink whatever the hell they want to and then wonder why their teeth are fucking rotten out. But it's like after all the sugar, you would feel that shit on your teeth.
Yeah.
And it feels like putty, like you just got some fucking glue or some shit on your teeth. It's like, why the hell can't you just pick up a toothbrush? It literally takes a minute, folks.
God damn it.
And
Good God.
I chew tobacco, so I'm brushing my teeth like 3 times a fucking day.
Yeah. I remember in the Rangers, almost everybody dipped. 9 out of 10 Rangers dipped Copenhagen. And I tried it. It knocked me on
That's
my
the
ass.
worst shit ever.
It would make me sick, and then their breath just stank. And these guys would use like a quarter of a can. Their bottom lip is hanging way out. And I used to, after they had been dipping it for like 10 minutes, I used to walk up and go and give them a flavor surge.
Oh, oh man. We used to do that in marching band in high school. It was like a drummer thing. I don't know. All the drummers fucking did it. So occasionally they would have like who can fit the biggest dip in. I literally
That's
one
hilarious.
motherfucking dude bet like $20 that he could win the biggest dip contest, right? So he ends up fucking shoving a dip literally that went the entire bottom of his mouth and then stuck one in the middle and says, "Hey, I'm Hitler." Because his fucking top lip just popped right
Yeah.
out. I swear I'll never forget that. And then somebody smacked him on the back and he swallowed a bunch of it. Oh, we were
Well,
dying laughing.
I think he was going to swallow a bunch of it regardless of somebody smacking him in the back. How can you
I'm like,
manage all of that in your mouth? I tried to
I,
dip because no, like you were allowed to dip in Ranger School. If you, that's one thing you could bring. And in Ranger School, they starve you so much that I wanted to have something in my mouth to savor. So I even tried freaking,
that
what was it
fixation,
called?
yeah.
It was called Hawken, which was really mild, and I just didn't like it.
That's an ass brand, let me tell you.
Yeah, I tried it. I didn't care for that. I tried Skull Long Cut. That just would make me sick. I couldn't handle that. And Copenhagen, there
It's
was no way that was ever getting in my mouth. That's almost dipping Copenhagen is kind of like drinking Hennessy. To me, that tastes awful.
I
There's
mean,
no savoring that shit.
to put it, simple and plain, to do anything Copenhagen, um, you might as well just grab a tuft of dirt out of the ground and stick it in your mouth at that point. Literally tastes like asshole. And
My
not a
sis,
clean.
my sister still dips fucking Copenhagen. My sister.
Oh,
Yeah, you heard
I heard
right.
you right. Did I hear you right?
Yeah, you heard me right. She still fucking dips Copenhagen. When she came down, she had an ankle injury
Stupid.
that prevented her
Open
from
Jesus
making it.
upside down.
She came down to me because she wanted me to get her ready for the army, and when she
Well,
was
she
like
was
20
already
years old.
preempting, huh?
Yeah. And so we ended up getting scuba qualified, went through all the courses and went down and did our dives and stuff. And then we planned a trip to go down to Miami and dive, and actually West Palm Beach and dive. So we drove down there, and she had one fucking cup of fucking Copenhagen spit the whole fucking ride down there, and I could smell that the whole time. Plus, she loves Neil Diamond, and it was her truck that we drove down in. So I had to listen to Neil Diamond's greatest hits the whole time down and while smelling her Copenhagen spit cup. Ew.
Was she trying to kill you?
I know it was awful. So I have teased her every time I see her. I still tease her about that.
You should. You
Fuck.
absolutely should. Can everyone out in Black Flame Land imagine Hoofbeast riding down the highway to "We Come to America"
Yes.
over and
Over and
over
over.
again?
It was a 9 hour drive down there.
Oh
Oh my
man!
gosh.
Now it was a 9 hour drive for me just to get here, and I could only imagine listening to that unholy bastard, and not in a good
Oh,
way.
oh man.
So we've been talking about, trends from different time periods and stuff. And, some of us, out there in Black Flame Land as well as us two guys kind of, grew up in the mid 70s or was born in the mid 70s or even the early 70s. So this, people are always talking about, oh, how the 80s are coming back. It's dominating. Next, it's going to be the 90s and yada, yada, yada. So I thought this was fucking hilarious when I saw this because I'm like, I remember this shit. Who else thinks 70s conversation pits need to make a comeback?
Hell yes. That stuff was
Now,
fun.
it was kind of like in your house. I can remember this. We didn't have one, but we knew people that did. So obviously, our folks would take us over to their house and hang out or whatever. It was like, ooh, that's like the important area. Like if you could go down there, you were doing something. I really don't see what's wrong with that because it also kind of separates from a lot of the other motherfuckers you don't want to deal with in your house. I don't know. Had you ever seen one of those or actually like
Oh
sit in
yeah.
one?
Oh yeah. Yeah, like they're great if you're like an adult like we are now and who can actually sit down and have a talk. But these kids today are going to be in their cell phones. They're going to be down like that. They're not
It
going to
doesn't
talk to each
matter.
other.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter where the fuck you sit in the house. Kids are always going to be on their electronics. I
Hmm.
swear it ruined them, made them lazy.
Hmm.
I
Made
mean,
them
there's
uncreative.
antisocial, and then there's what the fuck.
Uncreative, not learning skills, not going out and like we did. Like I ran, my mom kicked us out of the house on Saturdays, and we didn't come back until it was dark
you know,
or
I
or her
I
dinner
always
time.
preferred to be out in nature doing something, whether it was
Hell yeah,
riding four wheelers or walking a trail, building a fort in a tree. That was
hell
like
yeah.
we made our own little clubhouse. 4 or 5 of
Yep,
us fat little bastards that didn't know shit from our ass, fucking just
yep.
trying to do shit like that, and it was fun. You
Hell
try to
yeah.
get a kid to you try to get a kid to do that today. They want to just make a little fort inside the house, mind you, out of cardboard. It's like,
Yeah.
what do you want to make a cardboard fort for? Get out there, grab a hammer, get some nails, and put some fucking balls into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just glad I raised my son that way. He was an outside guy. He was, even though he
Yep.
had the electronic shit going on. Even when he got a phone, he still wanted to go outside or be
Yep.
outside and do stuff with people. So I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
I mean, it's parents have to kind of police that shit anyway, and it's up to them. Some parents use it as a way of, well, let's face it,
Parenting.
pacifying.
Yeah. That's what they call parenting.
Right.
And, and and like I guess it kind of sounds bad if we say like my mother would say at about 10, all right, time for you guys to go outside. Goodbye. And she knew
That
that
was
like we
that was
if we
parents'
were
way of
going
saying we need time.
if we were going into somebody else's house, we had to let her know. If we were going out of earshot of her mouth, we had to let her know. And otherwise, that was cool. See ya.
I
Come back
mean,
for
I don't
lunch.
know. There was nothing like using your imagination back then.
Yeah.
That's how the most creative people are, is because they're always using their fucking imagination. Well, how are you using your imagination if, cell phones and tablets and computers? And I mean, I love a good video game too, but I don't need 12 hours straight of it. That's
Yeah.
just me. Kind of hard to be
Well,
creative that way, unless you're playing D&D, and that's okay.
there's some creativity to that. Like,
Uh-huh.
the types of things that we did, like I pretended I had Star Wars action figures, cars. I pretended, and then once I got older, it was sports. I played sports with all the kids. We had a soccer game going on. We were going swimming, playing Marco Polo, playing baseball. Go trying to catch lizards. You know, there was something trying to catch mice out in the field. We were always doing something, riding bikes, making bike ramps, making berms in the desert and stuff like that. Like we were always fucking gone.
I don't know. I wish more kids would do that these days, but it is what it is. But yeah, that would just be we got far away from the conversation bit, uh, but that's okay because honestly, I think in a lot of the Art Deco style houses I see built today, those would just fit right the fuck in. I really think so. All right, let's move on the goddamn list here. And now this one always makes me fucking laugh. So the big news in the last couple weeks was whether or not our government was going to shut down. It's when I snapped this, it was the House Speaker McCarthy's last-ditch plan to keep the federal government temporarily open collapsed in dramatic fashion. This was like a couple Fridays ago, I believe,
Yeah.
as a robust faction of hard right holdouts rejected the package, making a shutdown almost certain. So I ask you, how in the fuck does a government shut down? And mind you, this always happens right before Christmas. So, and it lasts for, you guessed it, 3 months. What other government in the world does that?
Yeah, this is nonsense posturing, crazy stuff. Like if you know the types of things they're asking for in order to not shut it down, it's like a form of terrorism in a way. It's like hostage holding, and it's some crazy shit. And here's the big thing. This is a minority group. Now, they act as a minority because they're extremists. They're a minority group and they're trying to push their ideals on another.
Politicians is what
Yeah,
he's talking
these politicians, and they're trying to hold everyone hostage. Like this would affect so many things, but I can guarantee you it's never going to go real far because there are too many multi-billionaire corporations and billionaires who feed the pockets of these fucking politicians. And they don't want their assets, they don't want their companies, they don't want the stock market to take a huge disastrous dip. And so they don't want this shit to happen anyway. So if they do it, it's going to be for a short period of time.
My thing is, and I agree with Paul. Paul says they will never quit printing. It's a scare tactic. Well, yeah, no shit, because I don't know if young people even like realize this when they talk about it in the news and stuff like that. What kind of an impact literally shutting down, or as in going on strike, in the government, and they all have, 3 months of basically vacation because they can, because they're multimillionaires. Um, but everyone else suffers. So, you know, what I can't imagine what it would be like to actually have that happen. And you know what's funny? It's, right along with what you said there. It pretty much is a scare tactic, because literally up to the final minute before the deadline hit, they reached an agreement.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it is. So I don't know if they just kind of get a sick enjoyment out of making everyone sweat and wonder what the hell's going to happen. Am I not going to get my social security payment? Am I not, this, that, the other thing? How can you fucking tease the American people that way? Because they still reached an agreement, but they were basically, the news was hammering us during the last 2 weeks. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you probably saw it there, Hoof Beast, but
Oh
everybody
yeah.
out there in Black Flame Land, it was big news for like 2 weeks. They're like, oh, things are going to be completely fucked up. And then 1 minute to go time, they pulled it right out and said, okay, we're cool.
No, I knew that was going to happen, and it's like I said, they know they have millions of dollars in stock. They don't want that to take a nosedive because you want to you if they shut the government down, watch and see what happens to the stock market, which will really kick their asses. They don't want
Oh,
that
yeah.
to happen. And a lot of this is because of seven extremist assholes that are trying to hold everyone else hostage over it. And then those seven assholes ousted the Speaker of the House because he made a deal to keep our government open. Yeah, we do need to curb spending, but there's a better way to do it than just being a bag of hot air trying to get a sound bite for Fox News, OAN, or Newsmax.
It's. I know this is just kind of like an offshoot, but I always kind of felt with, they always say wealth makes up a very small portion of the United States. And I'm sure that's true. But I mean, when you're talking about billionaires, literally billionaires, what if you got each one of those people that fall into that category to give up some of the wealth there and put it into the people of this country?
Mm-hmm.
That would solve so much, wouldn't it?
Yep.
I know we'll never see that in our lifetimes, but I still hold on to that. I hold on to that. So that brings us on to our next thing on the goddamn list for the night. If I can get it, hold on. That's right, people. We have just celebrated the 20th anniversary of House of a Thousand Corpses in theaters starting last Sunday, and Wednesday was your last chance to see it. Um, I, for one, was not able to see it when it first came out, but all my friends did because I was working the graveyard shift. Pretty much sun up to sundown as a teacher, and then part timing at another job. I just didn't get out, especially being a single parent. So I did, in fact, catch it this time around, and it was glorious. Have you ever seen this film, Hoof Beast?
I have not because that, as you know, 20 years ago, guess who was with Jesus? And so I just didn't give my time to stuff like that back then. I was the first reader of my church, so I conducted all the Sunday and all the Wednesday services. And so I didn't have
My
time. Plus I
ears are
had my
boiling.
job
They're
and I
just
was an
boiling.
artist. Yeah, it's hard to believe, but
Well, I'll tell you what, if you didn't get to catch it back then, and if you missed the 20th anniversary, guys, it's everywhere. It's playing everywhere. It is one of the single greatest horror films of the last 20 years. Rob Zombie assembled the greatest cast of Cuckoo Family Cuckoo, known as the Fireflies. Otis, and of course, the great Sid Haig, who is no longer with us. Just an amazing horror actor, period, since the 70s. Gave us Captain Spaulding, the greatest, uh, you know, some of the best one-liners, his laugh. I mean, he was such huge comic relief in this film of madness. And then you have the great Bill Moseley, who was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 back in the 80s. Boy, can that guy deliver the biggest psychotic diatribe of dialogue and just keep you on the edge of your seat like, what the fuck is this guy going to say next? Cuts a dude's hand off and starts clapping it on the side of his cheek as he's looking at his, decapitated hand. It's a great fucking movie, man. You've got to watch it. It's hilarious. And this was Rob Zombie's first film, very first film he ever got to do. And he knocked it out the fucking park. And you want to know what's funny? He said it was my worst film ever. He's like, and later I understand now after research and reading interviews with him why he said that. Because, he was picked up to do it. Studio threw a bunch of money at him, made it, and then said, you got to change this. Nope, you got to change this. Nope, you got to change this. So his true vision for House of a Thousand Corpses was pretty stunted by the Universal. So what we ended up getting was still fucking gold, though. Even though a lot of shit got chopped, like wouldn't let him do certain things, or they would say, "Oh, change what he said there." That's why motherfucking Hollywood can suck my fucking balls. They wouldn't know a good picture if it jumped up and bit them on the tit.
I would want Hollywood to smell one of the stinky customers that I had today, smell and suck his balls.
Oh, that's awesome. Paul says not only has he seen it hundreds of times, he said it's on Tubi. So Tubi is a free movie app where you can catch some of the best fucking films, like shit like did you want to catch up on. It's just it's kind of some satanic correlation in there. Just like me and Magister Bill this past Wednesday were talking about how the film Nightbreed has so much satanic philosophy in it. And oh man, when he showed that there was a limited edition Clive Barker, his book Cabal, with the Magus Gilmore putting an essay in the beginning of the book. So it just goes to show you there was that correlation. And if you know much about Clive Barker, he was never, the portrait of normalcy. But not to say that, satanic philosophy isn't considered normal, because it's normal for all of us who are Satanists. So I just thought it was fascinating. But, when and some of these scripts talk about the beast within or the carnality of man. We are the hunters and this and that. You hear a lot of that in the character Otis,
Mm,
uh, who's like I said, played by Bill Moseley. So it's like so interesting now with Satanic Eyes really kind of like delving into dialogue in some of these films.
yeah.
You'll see just how much actually pops up in there, even if they didn't intend on doing it. What's up, Kyler? Glad to have you. Absolutely. He was volunteering at the Haunted Woods Scare.
Oh, that's
Nice.
fun. That's good fun.
Hey, you know,
Hell yeah.
always fun. But luckily for me, I get to put my war paint on at least 3 times a week.
Now, Reaper, tomorrow you've got to do something with those protesters. Even if you just get somebody to film you walking up and just get in their bubble, just stand in their bubble.
I should do like Jack Nicholson did in the movie Batman, where you see the crowds lined up and shouting, and he's just running past them and is doing his little dance, during the it was like a parade in
Yeah,
the film. I'm talking
yeah,
about. I'm gonna do the
yeah.
same damn thing. I'm just gonna, strut my little fucking stuff, and for 1 second, I'm gonna turn, look, smile, and laugh, and make sure that picture gets snapped because that I was told I could do that, but they don't want me to engage.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because there's a lot of money that goes into putting on a metal festival.
Yeah.
So I want to get nobody in trouble, but I am damn going to enjoy it as much as I can. And I'll definitely be posting stuff. I'll definitely be posting stuff to, Facebook, Instagram, the whole nine. Uh, let's see. What else do we have on the goddamn list? Oh, that's how I wanted to end this. So, it's always been fascinating to me how much people take their horoscopes, astrology so seriously. So, one of the things I've noticed on Facebook and a lot of social media is all these comparisons of, people's astrological signs and how they pair up. So, there's been a number of these top couples in sex take a test stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen this, Hoof Beast, but I,
No.
I think it's just fucking hilarious. Now, anyone who's ever taken any of these tests by Facebook know that there's no truth to it. They take something based on your profile. So it's your birth date, your birth year, all that shit, and then just scramble it up and go, oh, hey, this is who you're compatible with. But what's funny to me is how many people actually take this as the truth. Because what people fail to understand is it depends on what part of the month you were born. It really does. Some people are born at the end, some people are born at the beginning. There's all the whole cusp shit. So how could you say that you would be sexually compatible with XYZ sign? Wouldn't you rather find that out in person? I, I don't know. Have you ever known people like this? I've known people like this all my life where they're
Oh,
just, oh,
absolutely.
I'm going to stay away from Capricorns and yada, 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 because
Oh,
they're this,
yes.
they're that. And it's like, you realize you could have like saved yourself a lot of trouble if you would have just met people. Because I mean, even on this thing, what's it say here? For instance, Aquarius plus Cancer equals marriage. A Pisces and a Leo means breaking up. but an Aries and a Leo means best sex. Now, isn't that funny? Because as you go down, it says a Leo and Aries equal divorce. So Pisces and Cancers. I mean, how can you base your life off of this shit?
Oh, I know. Yep. I've had them into this and all kinds of astrology, and oh my
I
gosh.
mean, obviously we know our traits and things about ourselves that we could say, yeah, that kind of fits me.
Hmm.
But to base relationships off of, there was even a category for business right there. So it's like, oh, okay. So if you partner up with an Aries or something like that, depending upon whatever your sign is, that you'll have good business, like you'll have good finances. Where I come from, most people always felt that if you partnered up with an Italian or something like that, they always have money. So why are we so fascinated? Why is pop culture so fascinated right now with horoscopes? And because isn't it kind of funny that no two horoscope writers say the exact same thing the exact same day? They're always
Hmm.
different. What do you think of this? I think it's
Well,
fucking hilarious.
this is just like if we had to talk about Christianity. They've got all kinds of, they're make believe as well. And they do it, they concoct it in a manner to fit the outcome that they already want. Anyways,
So
like there's a,
what does that say about the people that really like take these horoscopes as law?
I think they just want to be happy, and this makes them happy to delve in this, to allow their imagination to go somewhere. It kind of pacifies them for a while. I think that's probably why they do it. Like reading the Sam Harris's book, The End of Faith, was such a great book for me to read. And it was a little bit of a bitter pill at times, but it's written to where he just points out and presents things, and you're like, yep, I got to stop lying to myself about that. I have no evidence of that. No, I've never seen this supernatural thing ever happen or anything like it before. So why do I give credence to all kinds of make believe? And this
I
astrology
could
stuff is that.
definitely say that I think people today, they've tried so many different things that they're just looking for anything to hold on to give them guidance, so that it's like, if people would just trust themselves, I think more intuitively, like your gut, we always say go
Mhm.
with your gut feeling. You won't you can save yourself from some of these horrible relationships, or you know horrible lovemaking, just by conversation, really getting to know someone, instead of, oh, hey, you bought me 6 drinks, let's do it.
Mhm.
Nothing good can come from that, right? Try to go at it soberly,
Well,
or
an orgasm is good. It's just a I wouldn't
yeah,
say
but
nothing, but I totally see what you're saying. I'm just joking.
I know, but it's not that great if it only lasts 2 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Which any guy that's drunk out of his mind, well, it's usually the result. But I don't know. I just think it's just these tests literally pop up everywhere every day. Even if you just merely mention the word occult or astrology, horoscope, or you could be on a top, you know, and that's one of them things I still bitch about to this day. Why do we let our phones and our apps have access to our microphones so they can hear us?
I have had so many things that I've spoken about, and voila, Here's an ad for it. So I find myself talking to my phone sometimes. Like they'll send me an ad and I'll go, fuck you, and skip.
And then you say, you can suck Satan's big ass red balls. And then the next thing you know, Blackcraft called advertisement for their latest sweatshirt pops up. You know it's true.
God, I had one of those happen today. I'd have to think about what it was for, but I was just like, oh my gosh, I was just talking about that. And here it is. I've had it happen several times, and I don't think it's a coincidence.
No,
I do think they
it's
are, I
not.
think they're listening in.
Oh, absolutely. Some kind of, I don't know, AI something or other or this or that is listening in on all your conversations just so they can market their products to you.
Hmm.
Then the next thing you know, you spend 100, $200 and go, why did I do that? Oh, I know, because I talked about it and then suddenly my phone showed me it. Too bad there's no buyer's remorse. Well, everybody out there in Black Flame Land, it has been an awesome return of the goddamn program and so much fun with my brother, Human Hoof Beast. Uh, Especially doing this for the first time, it's just it's fun. It's great to talk about the chaos of the world and things that are going on, and all the blasphemy and insanity that you can handle. And
Yeah,
appreciate
we can
y'all
blast.
definitely. Yeah, definitely
We blast.
appreciate y'all tuning in. What's
We
that?
blaspheme. We blaspheme tonight. That's for sure.
Always. And again, if you happen to be somewhere in Tennessee and you want to come to the Tennessee Metal Devastation show tomorrow, I will be there. I'll be signing stuff. I'll be doing interviews with some of your favorite bands. And apparently, I'm going to have some fun with some picketers.
Well, maybe you need to get behind the kit up there.
That would be fun. I don't know for who and what band, but even just to, rock out for a second would be fun.
Yeah, I haven't played a live show in so long because from living overseas and now being kind of on an island in the middle of nowhere where I am, like I'm on a no metal island right now where I am. I can't wait to play live. I would love to play that show live next year.
Oh, man, most deaf. Greg Gonzalez says picketers. Well, just to let you know, this Tennessee Metal Devastation Festival that I am going to be a guest at for the Reapers Underground show apparently has a bad case of the satanic panic. So we're going to have some wonderful, upstanding Christians outside telling me how horrible I am and why I'm going to burn in hell. And the only thing I have to say to them is, I'm glad. I prefer that. Thank you. Sometimes I think this country moves forward and then it just takes several steps back. And it's like, why?
Well, Reaper, just think of the good news about tomorrow is just think of all the prayers that you will have received, especially if you
Oh,
mingle with
yeah.
that with those picketers. They're going to pray for you so much.
And that's great. I'll be like, fucking save your prayers. Waste them on someone else. Don't waste them on me. I'm at peace where I'm going. Shit. But as always, though, thank you all so much for tuning in. And this program is back, and it's every Friday night. So, in case I have a show or something like that, that would be the only time that this show won't happen. So, we might do it on Saturdays sometimes too. So, just depends. And like I said, if anyone is interested and has the podcast chops to jump on and get into the thick of the goddamn list, definitely shoot us a message somewhere, and we'll try to get as many of you on as possible. So as you're about to lay it down or about to finish off a 12 pack or two, or, your favorite bourbon or something like that. And you got visions of, Reaper in front of these picketers tomorrow as I'm blaspheming all over them. Just remember, because I am always staying heavy. Maybe.